You know, I learned a new word today. Pinpon Dash. Kids running around and like...
you press Pinpon and run away. Okay.
Yeah, apparently that's happening in my building. And so they sent out a list being like, Pinpon Dash dame dao.
Well, have you done like, but when you were young, did you call like random numbers?
People called me once and scared shit out of me.
Is this one of like the scream kind of like situation?
Yeah. I was a kid and like this other girl in the apartment, she was a bit older than me. She called and she's like, and I was like, ah! Like, ran.
Anyway, so today's video, we're gonna talk about some drinking tips we have for you guys. The drinking culture in Japan is really different.
And on top of that, I think there are some extra sort of nuances within the gay world.
Okay, the first thing, Otoshi.
Otoshi.
It's basically a cover charge for you to enter the bar. Like you cannot avoid it. For most of the gay bars here, the Otoshi will be 1,500 yen to 2,000 yen, usually.
And it usually includes a drink.
The first drink or a bowl of snacks, they have that for you.
Yeah. So we went and did a video in Yokohama. The bar we went to at the end, they had like a big basket of chips and some like crackers and chocolates and stuff like that. That's what comes out with the otoshi. And, you know, we sat down and it was just automatically sort of placed there and it was fine. I ate them all. So I'm like, if I'm gonna pay for it, I'm gonna just stuff my face with all these chips.
Question.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to eat them all? Like, is that rude considering
No, they'll refill it. Well, hold on, I'm gonna flip this question back. If they're charging me, yeah, I'm gonna eat them all. Even though they're always consommé.
It depends on the place because I feel like in Nichome there are some bars are very generous. Like they have all different kind of like snacks
and like wrapped up chocolates. And
yeah,
like
basically you're paying 1,500 for that like sakura box.
Yeah. If it's that, I'm not gonna go in and be like taking everything. It's more if you give me, sometimes you get like popcorn and stuff like that. Like I have no guilt. Sometimes it's quite cute that happened. I was in Boom Boom actually the other day. The Mama-san brought out a box of chocolates from Okinawa because one of their regular customers came in and brought it back for the bar as a omiyage.
Yeah.
And so they kind of included that in the otoshi in a way.
Before recording this video, Andrew was like questioning like why a lot of people are mad of otoshi, but he feels like in the US people charge for tips.
Yeah.
And with tips you get nothing. You basically get the service, you have to still on top of that, pay I think 15 to 20% of the service, the fee.
At least 20. At
least 20
like nowadays.
Because tipping culture is not here. Like you usually don't tip. The other day I tried to tip someone.
Did you?
And yes, I did because I think the person went a little bit more above and beyond for me, but they rejected it.
Me coming from North America where tipping culture is very normal, I have a lot of friends, like for instance, my British friends would, you know, come visit or something. They would get like, I wouldn't say upset, but they're like, why am I tipping? Like to them, it just seems so foreign at the time. I'm already paying for this service. Why would I tip when I'm already paying for it? And so it was such a foreign idea for them. And looking at it from that lens, I think that that's how probably people look at it from otoshi, right? From a non-Japanese lens. But I encourage you to sort of just switch to, oh, well, I'm not paying tip anyways. You're kind of saving money at that point, or just consider it that this is the Japanese version of tips and tipping, and at that point then maybe it'll be more like less of a shock to get that on your bill at the end to pay.
Yeah, and the second one, kind of like similar to otoshi, is they don't usually ask you. They will ask you kind of like as an option. And not as a mandatory thing, but they were like, can I have a drink as well? Like
yes.
Sometimes they don't even ask, they just sit there, right?
Yeah, it's expected.
Yeah, it happens, yeah.
It's expected for you to buy them something. I think the people who are sitting there just waiting, they expect you to sort of read the room and understand that the idea is to buy.
Yes, so a lot of like the gay bars, when we sit down, they will have a staff like join our group and try to talk to us. Sometimes they ask, sometimes they don't ask. They would like sit just over there and you would be like, oh, we keep drinking. It's like, are you not thirsty? You think about it, right? Before, like I didn't know it was a culture thing. Like I just asked them like, why don't you drink something?
Because we're waiting on you to buy.
Yeah. But my point is if they drink something, the bill is on you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if they did happen to then drink at that point, that's true. I would say that they don't really take it like, they take advantage of it in the sense that they sort of kind of force you to buy a drink, but it's not like they're pouring Dom Perignon or something. It's usually something very simple.
Sometimes it's not even alcohol.
Exactly. Sometimes
Yeah.
because they can't do that the whole night. I had some friends over the other day and we went to a bar, and at the bar I was telling them as well, like, okay, so we're here and Mama-san is talking to us, and so we should probably buy them a drink. And oh, okay. And so like everyone was fine with it, right? Actually,
But if you don't say that, will they realize it?
No.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
But I do think I don't know. I didn't necessarily ask them, but from the vibe of I think that they were not only happy to, but kind of it was fun for them because they were doing something that's different from their home. You know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, cool. Oh, this is the culture here. Okay, let's do this.
I have a question. So when did you realize that you need to buy them a drink? Like who taught you?
Ooh,
Was it like a
that's a really good
self-awakening?
point.
Because I just like なんとなく like ある日 I just 目覚めた. Like I'm
I
like,
think
oh.
maybe me too. I think I must have probably been with Japanese people who were doing it, and then realizing.
So do you always offer a drink?
Well, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like, but that is also my. I factor it in when I'm like, do I want to go to a club or something like Western style where those expectations are not there. We don't have Otoshi, we don't have to buy, because those add up very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So I do think about that. Like, do I want to go to a snack bar tonight? If I just want to go somewhere for a quick drink, I might not go. If I want to go for some actual like chat, sit down, have a nice conversation, more of like an evening out, I might go to a snack bar instead and buy them a drink and buy myself a drink, eat their chicken flavored chips and
Consomme.
Consomme.
Okay, so talking about snack bars, do you have any recommendation for nichome snack bars or just snack bars in general for foreigner visitors?
So there's a bar I don't think we've talked about on this channel before called Jizz Bar, and it was a really welcoming, nice snack bar that I would definitely recommend. It is one of those bars I think that you can buy a bottle. We've talked about that before, where if you go to one of your favorite snack bars, every time you have Otoshi, then you had all these things, it adds up. You can instead buy a bottle and you leave it.
And they will write your name on there, and they will put into the shelf. Shelf, and you can see your your name on the bottle on the back. Yeah.
So when I went with the friend, he already had a bottle there, so we were able to drink from his bottle. So I just paid the Otoshi.
But it's kind of like an investment though.
It is.
If you're like thinking, I'm gonna go back to that place, and you can order a bottle over there.
Exactly.
I personally have never done bottle before.
No, I haven't either. But that was, so it's more of like that regular customer sort of thing. And then when I was there, they started singing anime songs. And I was like, that's fun. I want to sing an anime song. And so then I sung like Sailor Moon's opening, because like everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone in the bar started singing along, and the people at the back grabbed a mic and joined in as well. So
I mean, talking about karaoke, it's not on my list, but I want to talk about like, if you think karaoke places are the only place you can sing karaoke, that's not true, because a lot of snack bars offer karaoke singing option as well. So if you're like really enjoy singing and want to like have fun with other people, I think going to snack bars can be another reason for it.
if you're thinking about going to karaoke, getting a drink at karaoke, paying for all that stuff,
It can be more expensive.
it can be more expensive depending on stuff. Although you get to sing whatever you want all the time, you have to like obviously share at snack bars. But the vibe can be really good. Do you have any snack bars that you recommend?
I enjoy like the Chinese snack bars more. The Taiwan bar, usually I go with my Taiwanese friends if they come visit.
By
like
Icon, right?
yes, that like go on the ground.
downstairs,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like Chinese speaking foreigners go over there, like from Singapore, mainland China, or Taiwan. Yeah,
Maybe I should go. Would I be welcome?
of course, yeah. Next one. I think this is kind of off, like happy hours. I mean, there's happy hours in Western
There are happy hours in Western
countries,
but the difference is that, at least my understanding, is that happy hours are never unlimited.
It's kind of like you get a discount.
You get a discount. At least in Canada, there are a bunch of rules around that, because like you can't, by law, like you have to actually charge for things, and you don't want people to get too drunk. It becomes like a liability. But here, apparently there's no liability. So you pay for a happy hour, and there are places that just reduce their drinks, but a lot of them give you an unlimited something. Unlimited beer, unlimited wine, unlimited certain spirits. And it's usually for a set period, like happy hour is in the West, and for like 1,000 yen, 1,500 yen, maybe tops 2,000 yen.
But until what time usually? Like before 8, right? Something
Usually
like that.
6 to 8 or 6 to 9.
But I have one complaint. The alcohol in Japan is very watered down.
Yeah.
Like it's not strong at all. I feel like you can just keep going. Like even the beer like tastes like nothing.
When I first got back here, years and years and years ago, and I didn't have much money, I would go to those
Happy
hours, and I remember being pretty drunk. So I think it's watered down, but I think it obviously did the job.
Of course.
It did the job. It did the job.
You probably drank too much.
I probably just like, blah, 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 blah. But I will say that you can also ask them to make it stronger here.
Oh, if you ask, right?
If you ask.
I see.
So you can.
Oh, is it Pinpon?
Pinpon Dash.
Another thing we mentioned in our previous videos is that there's a word called kainse, members only. But it doesn't mean that you need a membership or anything. Usually it just means like it's for gay people, like women are not allowed in the bar. Is that right? Like I feel like other places also use kainse as well. Like real places which needs membership.
They do.
Okay.
They do. That's the whole point, to confuse people, I think, is like if you don't know that this place is a gay bar that you should be going to, you're probably gonna think that that's like, oh, this is not for me. I was always shocked about that. Coming from Canada, it's like people really want to advertise, this is my bar, come in here, drink and spend money. But these kainse bars look like anything. Like they could be an office, they could be a house, they're so inconspicuous, and they're usually so hidden that a friend like you would know one and you would bring me to it, and then that's how I would know about it, and then maybe I'd bring someone else. Regardless, it's mainly gay only. Well, no, only gay only rather.
Man only. Because you don't have to be gay, you can be a man to enter.
I don't know if you were straight.
You can. I think it's rejecting women.
But I think that
Or foreigners.
or
But basically I think the idea is to turn women away.
the idea and to keep the space gay. And so when you see it, if gay man, I think you can go in. Yeah, they might. Yeah.
Or tourists away. Can they?
Yeah,
turn
they might if they see a face like this after, they might. I don't know.
But
that
if you can
depends on the
speak
bar.
Japanese, I feel usually they won't turn
Yes.
you away. Honestly, I feel like because our previous video, why Japanese bars like reject foreigners, I don't remember the titles anymore. I think one of the most important factor is because the communication.
Yes.
Like if you don't speak Japanese, you probably don't understand. They're very complicated.
Yeah. Like
rules,
Otoshi,
like Otoshi,
yeah,
everything.
stuff like that.
And you may not like offer the mama-san a drink.
Yeah.
It can be seen as like rude
Yeah.
or stuff like that. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the reason why they want to
Yeah.
like turn foreigners away.
I've never been rejected, I don't think, from a kainse bar. It's more just trying to find them because they're so hidden.
I don't know if I can talk about it though.
Why?
So you took people to. What are some like etiquettes for those kind of places?
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess just beep out the name.
Why?
Because they
Okay. Oh.
actively do not. They believe that SNS ruins everything. I guess the easiest way to explain them is a host bar in a way, right?
So I have never been to. When you go in, like, do they have a booklet for you to choose, or do they have like a line of guys?
They have a line of guys.
And the guys will come in and you can choose.
No,
who you
they're
want.
just hanging out. You go in and essentially you identify someone that you want to talk with, and they come and sit down with you, and then going through all these things that we talked about before, Otoshi comes in, we also buy them a drink, but then on top of that as well, in the places I've been to, you're also kind of paying for their time.
Yes.
Separate from a drink.
You have to also pay a fee for the time that
So
you're.
the one that I went to was like 15 minutes.
15 minutes
Yeah.
as one tangi.
Yeah,
As like.
like a unit, and it gives you an opportunity to switch.
Oh, so after 15 minutes, they give you an option, be like, do you want to change
No,
to.
they wait for you to sort of identify, oh, how long has it been? They're not like, oh, 15 minutes is up, do you want to keep going? If you don't stop them, they're going to keep going.
Is there a card that you'd be like, I want to switch to that? Because it's kind of awkward to talk to the person and be like,
Well,
I think I want to switch, you know?
No, because like, I think, so when I went, I've been a couple times. One time we asked someone over, so they're waiting behind the bar. And the thing that, to be honest, they seemed really bored and not into it. my image was that they would probably try to, you know,
Use their charm to like
something like that, right? But they're all just kind of like
when
behind
they're
the
even, like,
bar on their phones and like kind of talking to each other and like not looking at customers, not engaging, not this and that.
they didn't be like, oh, choose me,
Yeah,
choose me.
it wasn't like
There was no appeal.
There was no appeal at all. But also maybe that's also part of the appeal is that they're like, whatever, I don't fucking care. And you're like, oh, like this guy doesn't give a shit. That's so hot. You know what I mean? One thing to think about as well is in these places that they're trying to get you to drink more. They're trying to sell more. So they're going to really anything you say is like, wow, amazing, like you're so amazing, you're beautiful, you're like perfect. And they'll start inching towards you more. We were there an hour at that time. And I guess they also know like probably around an hour people start making that choice to leave or not. You could see the guy I was with, his guy was like getting closer and closer and closer and closer, just kind of like, ooh, and like kind of snuggling up almost.
Yeah.
Once you finish a drink, then it's like, well, you're done. Would you like another? And like, why don't you try this drink? And they'll make recommendations. And these, obviously, the recommendations are more, you know, expensive and this and that. And then you buy your guy a drink again, blah, 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 blah. We did those switch out, or we added a boy.
So
Yeah.
So there were two boys.
There were two boys in the end. They will also talk about the other boys. I think that's how you could switch out, because it was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And they would be like, oh, this guy likes that or whatever. Oh, really? And then I think that's also kind of like a really good, like, you know, tag out. Yeah. Oh, why don't you come over and chat or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you have to pay extra money for that person as well.
Each person, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
But then if you like that guy, you can take that guy home.
Yeah,
well,
so-
you have to pay extra money for that as well, right?
Oh, yeah. You'd have to pay. You'd have to pay. These sort of places do have a book that advertise extra services that you can ask for. When we were there, one of the guys, oh, he was so handsome, and he knew it, and he was just piling it on so thick, like, oh, well, you're so handsome too. I'm like, shut up, like shut up, like, I know. I was like, it's been so hard. I can understand how you get.
You can see the charm of that.
And he was very charming. And then he was like, just by the way, like, I'm not free. He had, I guess someone else probably booked his time later. So he was like, I'm not free from like 12 a.m. or whatever, but tomorrow my whole schedule is free. And like, just in case in case you're interested or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going home. Bye.
But it was a tempting.
Yeah, very. I mean,
tempting.
they're giving you the
Your
fantasy. Even an hour for two people can easily get to Niman Samayan without anything.
Yeah, money is good. Well, so where are we going?
We go when there's a sugar daddy because it's just like I won't touch those places because.
But you said the guy is very charming.
He's so charming. You would love him. He's very much your type. But these places, I would say, we've been swindled, I guess, with that muscle bar. The places I've been to in Nichome so far, I haven't yet been taken advantage of. I'm aware everything is what I'm paying for, and they haven't slipped anything in. And so when I go in, I know that we're going to be paying a lot of money because I know that that's what a host bar is. But it's not like those stories you hear, the scary stories you hear on YouTube, where it's like, oh, we were promised something and then delivered something different and then charged extra. It's not like that. They will explain the system. You pretty much have to buy a guy a drink, 15-minute units, you pay extra amount. These drinks are this. If you
Adding
want,
a guy, you pay more money.
Exactly. And we also have a book for extra services. You can do whatever you want within that list, essentially, those options.
So here's the thing: a lot of them are straight.
Yes.
Just remember that.
Yes, that's also true.
They're just doing this as a job. But I would say, as long as you pay, you can keep the relationship going.
Yes.
Yeah. But be careful, because you probably want to check out that Shibuya. The girl, you know, like was banging on the. So I think like you can be easily, not like trick, but kind of like at a certain point you probably can't identify if it's true love or not.
Yeah.
If it's just money, or is it something more than that? Yeah.
They're telling you what you want to hear. That's the thing. You want to hear these things.
Yeah.
And after they keep telling you and telling you and telling you over and over again,
you start believing it.
Because you want to believe it.
Yeah, and then you realize that they're still treating you as a client, you know?
Yes,
like
you're a client. You are a client.
Yeah.
So that's why when I'm there, I'm like, get me out of here, because it's
dangerous.
It's addiction, I think.
危ないよ dangerous Andrew 気をつけて
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I'm like again, because I could see my personality. I have the type of personality that could get hooked in that environment.
I mean, everyone does.
Yeah, I have to be very careful.
Yeah, so that's like some spicy extra information for you. And if you have any drinking tips in Japan that you think we don't know, like you can please share with us.
Or questions.
Or any culture shock.
Yeah.
And also let me know where you like to drink. Like what's your favorite snack bar that I can meet?
And your favorite Otoshi chips. Your favorite Otoshi snacks. There you go.
My favorite is always kakipi.
The little packages
with the peanuts and also with
moon-shaped
yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite.
I mean, that's airplane food. There are good ones, and there was also like little chocolate ones and chocolates over biscuits. I mean, we're selling it, I guess. Like, come get some Otoshi.
Oh my god, should we make our Tokyo BTM box?
Otoshi
box.
What a great idea. We would have to include consomme chips every time though. And I think they always have like dried ramen snacks too. And
that's the worst.